the trauma is still here. Um, People have been hurt, people have been killed, and we knew all these people. So the overall feeling is one of sadness, of grief, but as well, people have been uh, I would say incapacitated. They were the people who were killed were well known, appreciated, and we're still trying to make sense of what is something totally unreal. But the reality is that there have been people that have been killed in a part of town that is extremely quiet, obviously with the COVID, the absence of tourists, but as well, it's a tightly knit community. People knew each other, people care about each other, and that's really where we're at this point.
So tell me about that. The community is mourning, even if they didn't know the people, right? Even, coming to Montreal, this sent shockwaves across the province, right?
True.
Um, let's talk about that. Your reaction when you first heard this, and what you were seeing from the entire community.
Well, our first reaction was one of incredulity because it happened on Halloween night, and we were wondering what's going on, and because all of a sudden the social media were abuzz with messages saying "be careful," and then watching the police service Twitter account, and then that's when I realized that it was extremely serious. So, first thing we did was to, I mean, check on my kids and see if they were home. Obviously, they were, but we locked our doors, and after that, we just kind of tuned in about the info, figuring out what was happening, and it was serious. It was something going on, and it's when we heard the official press conference at 2 in the morning that there were 2 people killed, 5 people injured, that it sank in. Uh, on Sunday, I went out and just to check what was happening, and there were a lot of crime scenes, a lot of red tapes, impossible to walk through the streets, so I have to do detours, and that's when I met a lot of media and tried to make sense of what happened. During the day, we heard the names of the 2 victims, the 2 people who were killed. I knew them, and the community knew them as well. So uh, they were neighbors. They were people that were part of the fabric of the district of the neighborhood. So when they started to take off this red tapes and decon- some kind of deconfinement for the crime scenes, that's when we gathered on the Rue des Remparts. There was a makeshift memorial for one of the victims, and that's when people started crying. People just realized what was happening. So, um, as a city councillor, as a neighbor, as somebody who knew these people, it deeply affected me. But as well, I have a sense of duty to help the people, to be there, to listen to them, and as well to recommend that they seek help, which will be provided today. But it's it's something you can fathom. You can think. We hear about all these horrors going on, but then when it strikes at home, close to a place that I love, the people that I care for, it's traumatizing, and we have to go through it. We have to face this ugly reality, not accept it, but we'll have to come to terms. But it will take time.
More specifically about the victims. You knew both of them. Um, can you tell me a little bit about, who they are, your relationship with them in that
Sure.
sense, their legacy and what they're leaving behind now on this fateful night?
The Suzanne Clermont and François Duchesne, I knew them differently. Suzanne was somebody who lived on the Rue des Remparts, which is like a street that surrounds, that's on top of the wall. So you have beautiful view on St. Lawrence River and the Bassin Louis. So Suzanne was a very cheerful, smiling person, bringing life to the neighborhood. Always a good word, very friendly, very nice. She was a hairdresser working on Saint Jean Street, appreciated from their customers. Some of them came yesterday afternoon. So a cheerful person. And François Duchesne, in a way, was also a very cheerful person. I knew him more because he was in charge of marketing and exhibition at the Musée des Beaux-Arts. He was in charge of the Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera exhibition, who was kind of extended due to COVID. And it's somebody who had a passion. He wasn't an artist by training, but his willingness to share and to, I would say, to bring forward these beautiful masterworks made him as somebody who was extremely enjoyable to talk to. So these two people whose life had been savagely lost were, I would say, people that were greeting us, making us feel better, uh, making us feel yeah, life is enjoyable. It's fun to be with you. It's fun to share. So yes, it's a sad loss, but it's also, if you talk of legacy, um, I would say their souvenir and their happiness is certainly something we'll carry in our heart, and that will help us go through these sad events. So if we can talk of legacy here.
Anything that I can leave our viewers with? What's the next step?
Um, I think, obviously we have to sit back and think about what happened. But again, if I can say a few words of hope, uh, we have to care about each other at this point in time. COVID is tough. Uh, Obviously, we don't have the same ability to go out and have fun, enjoy each other. But again, um, being true, sincere, and helping each other doesn't cost a lot, and especially when you have plenty of time. So that's what I would say to your viewers, is that take a few minutes for yourself about your loved ones. Share what is important for you. There's no ideal time, but maybe it's the time to take it at this point, and that's what I would say.